Dr. Rita Frady. I am from Canton, Georgia. I was originally born in Marietta, Georgia, but I have lived all over the Southeast as my dad was an engineer for a pipeline company. Passion is a zeal or a commitment to something that takes over you in your heart, your soul, your body, and your mind. And for me, that happened in my 16th year of teaching. And you may say, wow, that's a long time. But you have to understand that sometimes passions, it could be love at first sight, or it could be something that just sparks your interest at first sight, or it may be something that just kind of grows and all of a sudden it becomes something that all consumes you. And that was what happened to me. I was actually told at the end of my first year I would never make it as a teacher. I was 32 years old, went into teaching late because I never wanted to teach. My family was teachers. My sisters, both sisters, older and younger, were teachers, and I said that was something I'd never do. And I have quickly learned, never say never. And so that was the body. And so after they said you'll never make it as a teacher, I made it my mission, because you don't ever tell a Rice, which is what I was originally, or a Frady, which is what I married into, that you can't do something. So I went to every workshop and came upon one, John Jacobson's movement one, and his iconic and signature movement, Sparkle Fingers, and learned that if you add movement to words, it becomes more meaningful for the kids and they can remember them, and it helps get their focus more off of, what they're concentrating on the singing, let it come flow more naturally. So that really helped. So that was the body part of it. And then the mind came when I started getting on my graduate degrees. So my passion came in the 16th year of teaching. Bona fides to me is what is the foundations for a music educator. So first of all and foremost, before you even get into the education part, is you need to be a musician. And I shouldn't say before you get the education part, because that becomes extremely relevant. Like I said, I took piano from the age of 16. And when I graduated from high school, I thought I knew all there was about music. But I stepped into my first theory class and was completely lost. And then, of course, you learn and you get it. So in order to be a music teacher, first of all, you've got to have a fundamental foundation of music theory, music history, and the music literature. You need to know that. You can't just walk in and say, well, I was in choir for 15 years, I'm gonna go teach. The second part of it is patience. You need to be a person that can be patient, have a lot of patience. And I would say the third part is you need to have a respect for yourself, respect for your colleagues, and respect for authority. Because if you don't have respect for them, how do you expect to have your students have respect for you? So that's like the fundamental part of you and who you are. As far as the education goes, I strongly advise, of course I did it backwards, but it really helped me as I got a bachelor's degree in piano performance from West Georgia College. It's now University of West Georgia. And that, I can tell you, helped me more than anything else. When I went to get my master's, I didn't get it in music ed, I actually got it in early childhood. So I was certified for P5 in classroom. I kind of kept that quiet because I wanted to stay in the music classroom. And then my specialist is I got it through Piedmont College, and that was in teaching and learning. And then my doctorate is also from Piedmont, is in education and instruction. The way I use my musical expertise to help others, first of all, which is, kind of common in teachers, is I was a mentor for student teachers. I had 7 different student teachers. And they taught me just as much as I taught them. Sometimes I think they taught me more, because I say, okay, what are you learning? How are you doing this? I said, well, that's fine there, but this is how you do it in the classroom. That's why I think it's very important to get a grad add-on once you get into the classroom, because now you actually know what's going on. Actually, that was part of what my doctorate was about. It was, this is what you were taught, this is what you learned, and this is what you actually practiced. That was my dissertation thesis. And the other thing is as a music teacher, we're kind of on an island in our schools because we're the only music teacher. Now when you get to middle and high schools, you'll have a choral and a band teacher, but you're still kind of on your own. Elementary teachers, you're by yourself. So you have to reach out and grab, and the way I did that is joined, of course, our national organizations in the state, but also reached out to friends and different ones that are different music teachers, say, hey, this is how I'm doing this, how do you do this? We would get together at least once a year, and often try to get together more, but I know at least once. And then I would present. I presented several times with that way. The other way my expertise was shared is in our school there was a drama club that was started, and they did musicals, or they could handle the acting part, but they had no idea how to do the musical part and the choreography, and so I kind of fell into that. And so it became, my job and a joy actually to see these kids who were so quiet in the classroom all of a sudden just sparkle and shine on stage. Well, my personal goals are, because I'm retired, is to get my pickleball serve in, to level up in pickleball, to travel as much as I can with my husband, and to be the grandma that my grandkids love to see come through the door. I said, that's my goals now. When I was at school, what it was to provide the kids with a lifelong love for learning and for music. And of course, lots of studies have shown that babies that are exposed to music, and studies basically from babies through 7, if you expose them to different kinds of music and all, they become gifted in many different ways, but it also helps them with spatial intelligence and all different kinds. But that was my goal, was to help the kids become lifelong learners, to realize that music is there no matter where you go. It's my job to expose you to different kinds other than just what you hear. You may not like it, but then I often found the ones that I exposed different ones to, they came back and said, I love that, where can I find more of it? You're looking at an immigrant into that world of IT, whereas many people now, many students are natural born citizens. You got to understand, when I came along, we were still doing A prompts to get to the C for Windows. Email was a new thing, learning how to use email and get it to work, and not to even mention get an attachment to it. Learning PowerPoint, the basics of PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, learning how to make a Word document. All those things were things that were part of what I was teaching to re-deliver to teachers. And then we had Active Inspire. And of course, as you know now, IT is an integral part of the educational process. But I think having to been on the I don't know if you want to say the back end or the front end of it, and know where it started, it was, in some ways, I think it was easier for me to understand and to cope, because, I learned that nothing's really lost. You can find it. Just because you misfiled it doesn't mean it's completely gone. If something doesn't work, there's a way to make it work. Whereas sometimes I think that the students today, because they are natural born citizens, they want to press a button and it just be there. It has morphed into something different in the musical world. It's become a way for kids to create music, to be more creative with it, instead of having the frustration of sitting down and writing the notes. They can basically almost play it and it's written up there for them, or they can move the notes, they can hear it, if they like it, don't like it, and then go back and rearrange it. That has really been proficient in it. So with the technology, the administrative part, grades, keeping grades, creating lessons, having it there so I don't have to constantly have things laying all over the room. Where did I put that CD? I can just pull up a file, it's right there. We used Active Inspire, that was my main. So, and it was more like a glorified PowerPoint, but it was a lot easier. And so I could just go through and have the attachments there and the links. And so as I'm teaching the kids, because I taught back to back and it was a different grade. I may go from actually start kindergarten first thing in the morning, then go teach second, third, first, and in with fifth and sixth at the end of the day. And so you don't really have the time to go pull everything, but having it all there. So that was a major benefit. It was a lot. There's a lot that I have seen happen in my lifetime, and it's really changed. And so quite a bit. The most rewarding aspect is the students. It's the kids, it really is. Being retired now, I see a lot of them out, and you can tell when I had them, because some of them know me as Mrs. Frady and some of them know me as Dr. Frady, but they'll come up and they'll go, you know, Miss Frady, we were just talking about you the other day. We just absolutely loved being in your classes and doing the singing and playing the instruments and dancing. Or another one come up and, Dr. Frady, I'm so excited to see you. We loved playing I loved being in the drama club and putting on performances. And those things are things that you really enjoy. I've had a few write me, you know, letters throughout the years. I've had several come to me and say, Dr. Frady, I went and majored in music and I'm now performing up in New York. Or Dr. Frady, I'm going to be a music teacher. And I'm so excited for you. If you need me, just let me know. And it's just, that's the thing. It's because the students, teaching them allowed me to be a kid again. I get to experience the holidays and dance and sing, but I also get to help them to learn and to grow musically. And to see them, and they go through a lot of different things, and they taught me so much about the way life is. Because we don't always experience what all of these kids experience, and it really kept me humble. So, these students, there were a lot of experiences that taught me and changed the way I taught along the way. But the one experience that made the biggest difference was near the, I'd say the last third of my career. Fifth grade students were asked to go on a field trip, and we were to go perform for Partners in Education around the holidays as a thank you for everything that they did. And then it culminated at the Cherokee County Airport, and Santa Claus came in on a helicopter. And the kids didn't know that was going to happen. Whoa. When Santa Claus came in on that helicopter, those kids, fifth graders, and I didn't take just the best of the best. I had kids in there that gave their teachers fits. They ran to the windows and were just waving at him. And of course, he came in, and Santa Claus was amazing. He could sing, and he sat down, and those kids were just, they were just thrilled. They were amazed that he would come see them. And at that point, I said, okay, we do make a difference. Because you hear that all the time, but I hadn't ever actually seen it happen. Teachers make a difference.